E aí, galera do All Blue, beleza com vocês? Vamos para a primeira leitura do capítulo 365 de Hunter x Hunter, belezinha? Lembrando que ainda hoje vai chegar a análise completa aí, com teorias e, enfim, comentários mais completos, mas essa aqui é a minha primeira reação, aquele estado em que Matheus está intrigado lendo, né? Eu tô lendo pelo Mangá Stream, é um dos primeiros lugares que chega em inglês e por isso a leitura será em inglês, certo? E vamos embora, né? Muito foda mostrar aqui essa primeira página com o Benjamin, o Zang e o Tubepá. Tá lá o Kurapika e o Bill se encarando também com essa ligação aí, né? Por parte do Benjamin. E vamos embora ler. Three princes calling at the same time. Who should I answer first? É porque os outros dois que forem ignorados vão tomar como uma declaração de guerra, né? Essa atitude do Kurapika. Quanto balão. The first Prince Benjamin knows full well that his own soldier was killed. Ele tinha uma escuta, which means that we are already in a state of war against him. But despite that, why would he send another assassin to us and want to talk to us at the same time? The reason the other two are trying to contact us is probably the same, for information about named beasts. If they're trying to get information about them, then that probably means there were no named users among their own soldiers. That supports my hypothesis that both of those princes probably decided not to rely on the Hunter Association for bodyguards, and instead had their own private soldiers receive temporary associate license. Massa, né? Então Zang e Tubepá não tem aí Hunters na equipe deles. Não tem gente que usa nem. I have no shortage of things I like to discuss with them, but we simply lack enough information on either of those two princes. I can't imagine that they would go out of their way to call us just to declare a war. The fact that I made contact with the first prince has probably put pressure on the other princes. Shimano, ask the soldiers waiting outside to please wait a moment and tell the switchboard operator to please connect me to the first prince. Yes, sir. Bill, stand by the door and keep watch on the soldier outside. Depending on how our conversation goes, fighting may break out right away. Can you handle Gyo? Leave it to me, I'll put a stop to anything that might happen. Eu gosto desse Bill e a interação dele com Kurapika. If they've taken the bait I laid in make them think I'm a manipulator, then they won't be able to make any careless moves. E é exatamente o que Balsâmico pensou, né? Hello? This is the most exceptional honor, prioritizing me over the first Prince Benjamin. Zhang Lei? Ele disse que era o primeiro. Então só tem dois aí, Tubepá e Zang. Cara... Ou foi ela que mentiu, a criada? Pelo modo como Kurapika olhou pra ela, parece que ela mentiu. Pardon my asking, but would you mind telling me something? Why would you choose me over the first prince? To be perfectly honest, I thought you would be the most open to discussion. Mas foi o Kurapika que falou. Oh, and what did you base that as assumption on? I'm sorry, but I can't answer that, because it's likely has to do with the information that you want from me, about Nen. Very well, let's jump to the matter at hand then. As you have surmised, I want as much information as I can get about Nen, but of course, there's no way to ensure our privacy is maintained over the phone. Thus, I would like to give you permission to enter my room. How about it? A exchanging of honor and information, just as I would expect of someone of royal lineage. He won't let us take the upper hand in any way whatsoever. Caralho, velho, que virada. I accept your gracious invitation, but just one thing. Would you please allow 14th Prince Wobble and 18th Queen Woito to accompany me? Of course, they are both welcome as well. I wouldn't even dream of having siblings fight amongst each other for an instant. Well, then I shall ring you on the intercom in 15 minutes. E no Zang dá pra confiar que a gente vê que ele fica chocado, né? Pô, o Wobble já sofreu tentativa de assassinato. Click operator, connect me to the first prince. He has already hung up. Shit. Shall I connect you to the 50th Prince Tubepá right away? Hello, this is Kurapika. This is the second lieutenant mayor on the direct authority of 50th Prince Tubepá. We are prepared to offer an agreement of truce in exchange for information of them beasts. Will you accept? And you don't care about my interaction with the other princes? Your situation is of no concern to us. Very well, then I accept your offer. The prince has entrusted me with full responsibility for this matter. We won't do anything to break the agreement on our own, but depending on what you do, there are certain situations that may nullify it. That's fine. We would like to avoid conflict if at all possible. Understood. And I will head over to your room. I'm sorry, but could you give us use just a little bit of time? I believe I already told you. Your situation is of no concern to us. We do not believe that you are the only person who possesses information about men. And the agreement will take place the moment we receive information. Do you understand? So that's how we want it. I do, but we're presently dealing with a problem. The first prince's private soldier is stationed outside our door, so I suppose I could just invite you in while ignoring the first prince's men. After all, how the first prince will interpret that situation is of no concern to us. Do you understand? Very well. We will contact you again in an hour. If you have not resolved the problem by then our agreement is off. Caralho, massa que Kurapika comprou tempo, né? E ele foi muito político com Tubepá e Zhang. Ele conseguiu o apreço desses dois. Bill, look after the queen. Okay. No response from him at the door though. Shimano, come here and look me in the eyes. Massa que Kurapika vai perguntar. Why? Why did you connect me to the third prince Zhang Lei instead of first prince Benjamin? I too wanted to do my very best to try to survive. The first prince is a cruel, cold-hearted person. He's not the kind of person that would ever be swayed by any kind of negotiations or even planned for life. He's also the kind of person that would speak directly to commoners. The person you would have spoken to on the phone would have probably either been the one in charge of his soldiers, Sir Grant might, and any discussion or negotiations had already broken down early with the death of us subordinate. With that, he only had one piece of business left with us, to show respect to how faithful we were to our employer, the Queen. He will let us choose our method of death. I have no interest in how I'm going to die. All I want is to live, and that's why I connect you with the third Prince Zhang Lei. Pelo que eu tô lendo aqui, no momento parece que a decisão dela realmente foi a melhor até para Kurapika. Ele se saiu muito bem aí. He's tolerant and generous enough that he would take the phone himself to negotiate directly with us, but pois é, foi o próprio Zhang que falou. But pridefully and not so tolerant that he would wait to be spoken to second and not hang up. While he would like to avoid killing one another, if it came down to, he would not hesitate in the slightest. He is someone who is both kind and cruel at the same time. That's my impression of the third Prince Zhang Lei. Furthermore, if we could negotiate with him without harming his impressions of us or his mood, at the very least, he won't target us until there are fewer princes left. So then you connect me to the first in order to best ensure your safety. Yes, sir. If the Prince Tubepa is not the type that would speak on the phone himself, but his very strong critical opinions on how the present kingdom should be. The reasons he is participating in this battle is to stop the Haida princes from taking control of the throne. Once he accomplishes that, he will be able to negotiate with the king, and he will have the political power to gain amnesty for the lower princes. I decided that even if we picked the third Prince Zhang Lei first and made him wait, he wasn't the kind of person that would interpret that as a disrespect. Indeed, up till now, all of Shimano's judgments have been accurate. Then let me ask you this. As for the first Prince Soldiers who's waiting outside, what do you think we should do with him? We can't make him stay out there. Being an upper rank soldier who is also part of the king's personal army, he has come here under the name of National Defense to protect and observe. If we refuse him, the queen, the prince, all of us will be detained by the royal army. And once we are the first prince soldier, will accompany us. All he needs is on his single opening, just a moment, he will construct a scenario where the queen, being frantic and in a mental state of anguish, killed herself along with the prince. The reason he hasn't taken any actions despite having been made to wait this long is he already knows exactly what he should do. The longer this abnormal situation goes on, the easier it will be for them to lay groundwork for the scenario. Shimano, thank you. I'll be needing your advice. Please tell me anything you think of. Yes, sir. Massa, né? Porque Shimano, ela é inteligente. Kurapika, it's about time. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. The queen was making preparations to go out. We're about to head to third Prince Zhang Lei's room. Of course, we were invited by the prince himself. E foda, a gente vê a planta, né? Em 3D, o cara esperando lá fora, e Kurapika dizendo isso. Will you accompany us? No. If you're going to be in the third prince area, I'll leave things in your care. Meanwhile, I'll wait here in the room. Foda que vai ficar essa macumba aí na porta, né? I'll be fine. I won't go down so easily. Kurapika, are you going to go with your eyes like that? No, I'll be wearing contacts. If the fifth prince Tubepa calls, tell him that the problem has been solved. I'll be in contact as soon as negotiations are finished. Porta abre. Caralho, que tenso, velho. Que situação. Take care. After you. Eita porra. O Kurapika passou pelo quarto. 1008. É de quem esse quarto? Those are fourth prince and their niche quarters. Caralho, velho. Tá tudo juntinho ali, como a gente viu na planta do capítulo passado. 3 people have arrived and have entered the room. Welcome. Please have a seat. Take whichever one you like. I apologize for the meager hospitality, but if you don't mind, I'd like to move on without worrying about such needless things. Thank you for your consideration. Well then, let's get right to this information of yours. Then refers to the ability to invoke superhuman powers with your willpower. Using these powers, you can see things that are normally invisible and also use otherwise extraordinary powers. There are very few people that are able to use this power. He's probably directing this explanation to me. Pra ela poder usar, né, o Little Eye do Sairid, que tá com ela, né, pela corrente do Kurapika, do Emperor Time. Within this tense situation, is trying to make sure that I don't panic. E também tranquilizar a Rainha 8, né? Eita porra, tá lá a mandala maldita, né, de Zang, que é a besta de Nen dele, né? E a rainha pode ver? This section, acho que não, né? Ela tá olhando pra baixo, então acho que ela só tá sentindo uma pressão. This section war is a survival races and Nen abilities. All of the princes were unknowingly given Nen powers. Those are the Nen beasts, the word that was broadcast on the emergency channel earlier. I believe they were activated through the jar ceremony. Now, the information I'm about to give you is of extreme importance, enough to affect the outcome of the succession war. Bodyguard Slacker, second queen, Duazul soldier. Bodyguard Coventoba, first prince Benjamin, private soldier. Oxi, porra. Caralho, are you sure that you wish to have this conversation here? Porque Kurapika já se ligou que os dois seguranças de Zang não são peça boa de se confiar. Meu irmão, velho, é o que o editor fala aqui, uma guerra de informações. Que caralho, galera, quem não tá curtindo Hunter x Hunter, para aí de ler. Porque isso é foda, velho. Isso é foda nessa obra. Vamos falar mais na análise, galera. Vocês viram minha primeira reação? E é isso aí. Deixa o like, assina o canal e clica no sininho para obter as notificações e ver a análise completa.